Well, how many linebackers you got? We keep seeing more and more of those guys out there. What, Leighton and Darren making plays the other night. Been fun to see some of those guys out there.
It's pretty cool to get to see all those guys get out there and play, huh? Like I said all along, we just got to keep getting better. And, you know, as time goes along, more guys, they'll find a role. We'll find a way to use them. We'll end up facing teams where, you know, there's a role that they can be used in, and just got to keep getting better.
Doing something on Joe, and obviously he got the start the other night. How's he developed this year, and how did you just kind of see him take advantage of that opportunity the other night?
Yeah, no question. He did a really good job stepping in last week, you know, and played really well. Made a lot of really nice plays, and you know, that's momentum we could use to just keep building on. He obviously, we talk about things, and he knows the things he wants to keep getting better at, you know, and so it's awesome to see a guy step up to the plate like that and do a good job. Obviously, it's a new week. We start over and prepare to do it again.
So, you know, it seemed like the last 4 or 5 weeks of last year, he really kind of gained some momentum. What happened that kind of triggered, you know, pushed him in the right direction toward the end of last season?
You know, I think it's just the repetition of the season. You know, the reps and the meetings and the practice and the technique and all that stuff. By the end of the season, you know, he was doing pretty well with that stuff last year. And he's, you know, obviously he's a guy that goes and plays baseball in the summer, so he jumps back into this thing and gets rolling, and you know, he's doing the same thing this year, each and every week. I mean, we're just trying to get a little bit better. We're trying to figure out how to stop the team we play that week.
What's the biggest difference in him this year versus last year or early last year?
He definitely gets it better. We're able to do a lot more stuff, you know, when he's out there. He definitely gets it and is able to communicate better and get guys lined up, get the D-line lined up, make the adjustments we got to make at that position. It's a mentally and physically, it's a demanding position, you know, and so it's not the easiest thing to master.
How much has he cut that gap between him and Tanner in terms of, you know, what you lose when you take Tanner off the field?
Right. You know, I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. They definitely do. You know, and we're fortunate that we have two guys like that. You know, and it's just like we got Tyler and Ben. I mean, it's the same situation there. Where's the margin between those two? You know, if there is, it's very thin. They both got their strengths and weaknesses as well. So try to put those guys in certain situations where, you know, we could use their strengths as we keep building on their weaknesses. And to be honest with you, I mean, they help each other get better. I mean, it's a pretty cool deal to see.
What do you like most about Joe?
Joe does a great job. He's done a pretty good job blitzing, you know, and handling some of the stuff there. I think he's done a much better job in the run game with his run fits. And the thing that I'm most proud of him of is he's getting a better feel for handling the front and handling the communication. I think he's doing a really good job with that stuff and improving.
It seems like the trend in the last few years has been toward leaner linebackers, more athletic guys. He's a little bit more, built a little more like the old school linebacker. How does he do with sort of that side of it where it's the athleticism?
The crazy, Joe's actually leaned up a ton. I mean, I think 2 years ago, Joe was up in the 240s, and he's not anywhere near that anymore, you know, and I think it shows in how he moves, not only, you know, in the run game and getting to where he needs to get to, and in coverage. He's more versatile and playing in space. Obviously, you know, that for each guy, everybody's body is different. How they handle the weight, how do they move with certain weights, that's everybody's different, you know, and we just try to find that right balance with each one.
With Leighton, you know, it was just getting him a few opportunities to get into a game this year, and obviously the injury situation allowed him to take a few more snaps on defense and, you know, those meaningful snaps or whatnot against Wyoming. Right. What's it like to see him kind of get into the game and obviously, you know, play that position when one that he's pretty young at? Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I mean, just see where he's come from in what, a year and a half from playing the 8-man football. And obviously having a great high school career, both in football and basketball. And it doesn't always turn out, you know, like this, but when it does, it's pretty cool to see. You know, a kid that comes in here and works really hard and develops himself both physically and mentally. And, you know, as much as Tommy Smith, who works with the linebackers, and I are developing them, the other guys are too. The linebackers in the room are helping bring them along. Everybody loves him, and he's just a really hard worker, and he cares a lot about it, and so obviously spends time, and it's cool to see that pay off. You know, get a little early taste of what it's like to get in there and do it.
You know, how big is the jump from playing, you know, 8-man quarterback to being a linebacker in the Mountain West? I mean, how big of a jump do you have to make what, I mean, it's really only like 15 months or so that he's done this now.
Right. You know, it's not many people could do it, but he is. You know, he's got a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's got a long way to go, and he knows that. But the beautiful part is he's enjoying getting better every day and working at it. But he's got some natural abilities. You know, one is length and his athleticism, and he's a tough kid too. You know, and I think you combine that with his football intelligence and his willingness to study. That's what's allowed him to get in there early. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with the guys that are playing with him, that are help bringing him along and teaching him the things that they know that it takes experience to get. They're trying to hand off to him, you know. So
how high is his ceiling? What's he capable of? I mean, I know he's got a lot of talent in front of him right now, but I mean, could he be a starting linebacker at Boise State one day?
Yeah.
That's probably the goal, I would
assume. You know, you never want to get out too far out in front of yourself, but he's off to a really good start. I mean, the guy puts a smile on my face in what he's doing and how he's working. And at the end of the day, all we could ask of him is to keep working, to get better, to keep doing what he's doing to get himself to this point. And if we make another jump, you know, in another, whatever you said, 15 months, we'll find out where we're at. But I think it'll be a pretty good spot at that point, you know. But as we go week to week, I mean, it presents new challenges, you know, and especially for a young guy like him. We face a different offense. This offense this week's the 27th ranked rush offense in the nation. I mean, Leighton's got a lot of things he's got to get dialed on and to figure out, you know, so he could do his part this week. So, you know, it's week to week and making sure that we're at where we need to be at on game day, so we feel good about getting out there.
I know you guys had a good spring as a group, and Harst the other day said it's this kind of a special group at linebacker. What is it that's made this group so good and so deep?
Well, I think it first starts with them, is who they are as people. I mean, I mean, you got a lot of pretty smart guys in there. I mean, guys that are willing to put the team in front of themselves, you know. And so, I mean, I get more questions about who gets to play what and how much more from the outside and from you guys than I do from them. They're ready to roll when it's time to go, you know, and they work. And like I said, the coolest thing about them, and they will tell you the most about them, is saying that it doesn't matter. It could be Tyler Gray and Ben Weaver together. It could be Joey and Tanner together, and they're watching and studying and sharing stuff that they've seen together because they want each other to do well when they get in there. And, our deal is to take care of each other, and I think they do a pretty good job doing that. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're really competitive too. Don't get me wrong; they all want to be on the field. Don't get me wrong on that, but they understand the situation as well.
You mentioned UNLV's running attack. What do they do that's made them effective there?
Sorry, say that.
Oh, UNLV's rushing attack. What do they do that's made them effective there?
They've played some good defenses, and like I said, they're number 27 in the nation. They're well balanced, one back, two back stuff. I think they're well coached up front on the O-line. They got some big tight ends that are effective in the run game. They got running backs that run the ball well. They average, you know, the running backs are going 5 yards a pop. The quarterbacks are, you know, there's quarterback design runs. They got very good schemes, and they're well coached. And obviously it shows with the success they've had in the run game. So we got a lot of work to do this week to get ready.
With Leighton, really quick, and did you go up and recruit him out of there? I can't exactly remember.
He'd come down to some camps and stuff, and and knew about him. And
what made you think? I mean, what made you think he could play linebacker? And obviously, I mean, you were doing some serious projecting in terms of his physique and whatnot there too.
Seeing him move around, seeing his athleticism, his change of direction, and seeing his body, you knew at some point you had to grow into that thing. You looked at his hands at that point, and his wrists, they were huge. His hands were big, and at the end of the day, it's not always about what level you're playing at, 8-man, whatever, 11-man, whatever. When you're winning basketball championships and you're winning football championships, and you love playing sports and you're a competitor, that tells a lot about your character and who you are and how much you love doing it. And for a guy like him, that you said there's a lot of raw ability or something, what can you tell? Well, you know he's going to work hard because he loves it. And if a guy's going to work hard, then, you know, we got a shot to develop him into something. And, you know, we just got to keep going.